much money. My father worked 2 jobs, and so I went to community college. But I met this guy who owned a liquor store, but he had a car dealer's license. I leave it to you to figure out how I met him. But I talked to him and take me to LA, which is 2 hours away, to the car auctions, and I would go there and buy and sell cars, and I'd flip them and pay my way through college. It's illegal, but I don't know it at the time, all right? I'm just being an entrepreneur. And then what do you do when you go to community college? You go visit friends who are away at college. So I'll go visit some buddies at San Diego State, so I go to the grocery store to cash a check. It's 1985. And the lottery just started in California the day before. So I buy a ticket, and I won the lottery. True story. But the most you won at the time was $5,000. Put your nose in my way. You're 20 years old. You won $5,000. It's Friday night, and you're 10 minutes away from Tijuana. I took my folks to dinner, gave my brother and sister each $100, and I took all the rest of the money. I put it all in one stock, and I did pretty well. And then the next semester, I didn't go back to school. So I went to buy a franchise, but no one would sell a 20-year-old a franchise, but that didn't stop me. So I opened my own deli, even built a counter in my dad's garage. This was before Subway, but it was like Subway. And there's 3 lessons I learned if any of our small business owners. You're the first to work, last to leave, and last to be paid.
Yep.
But you know what? It's very rewarding. And the end of 2 years, I was really successful. So I now have enough money to pay my whole way through college, and I don't have to work while I go to college. And no one in my family had finished 4 years of college. So I sold my business. And there was this article in the paper to be a summer intern in Washington, D.C. with my local congressman. Now, I did not know the man, but I thought he'd be lucky to have me. So I applied, and he turned me down. But you know what the end of the story is? I now sit in the seat that I could not get an internship for. Only in America could that happen. That's true. I got my undergrad, got my MBA, and I got engaged in the political process. I get goosebumps anytime they still let me in this building. I don't know if you've taken a tour. My favorite place to go in the whole building is actually in this room, Statuary Hall. And you have tiles for people who are presidents, right? That served in the chambers. Because this was the chambers at the time, the original one. If you stand in the very back over here, there was a guy who was a one-termer. He has his name in this room, Lincoln, right? And if you stand on that tile and you're looking forward, because that's the front of it, look back and look at the clock. And orally say what time it is. Look at the clock and say what time it is. And the reason why I tell you to do that, that's the exact same view Abraham Lincoln had. He sat right there at a desk. I'll guarantee he looked back at that clock. It's the exact same clock. And when you think what this place has done, or the ideas that have worked here, the challenges that we've had, all of them have been greater. And if you come down, I don't know where you're going on tour, but if you come down and go to my office down there, you're welcome to come in. And I have an artist who paints these pictures for me, and I believe in a purpose-driven life. And I've got Lincoln, I've got Reagan, and I have Washington crossing the Delaware. And there's a reason why I have Washington crossing Delaware. It's in our conference room. He comes in, and this is where we devise a lot of our ideas. And you all know that picture, right? It's Washington standing in a rowboat. You know when it took place? Christmas 1776, no cameras. But the original artist is a German immigrant who lived in America for 10 years, and he painted it in 1850. The original one hangs in New York. And so he wasn't there. There wasn't a camera to say what it is, so he had to paint it in what he envisioned it to be. So he puts 13 people in a rowboat. Why would he put 13? 13 columns, right? You only see 12 faces. He has Washington in a ceremonial uniform, standing up in a rowboat at night, crossing the Delaware in the snow like this. We know that's not true, but when you look at Washington, he's bigger in life. You'd say that man, I'd follow him anywhere, he probably has never lost a battle. Do you realize we had never won one yet? That was our very first victory, surprising the Hessians. But I want you to look at the painting, because I want you to look at who's in the boat. The second person, he's wearing a beret, rowing, he's Scottish. The person across from him in the green jacket is African American. You come down the boat in the red jacket is a woman, and the very back is a Native American. I can't tell you if they're in the boat, but to this man who lived here for 10 years as an immigrant, that's who he envisioned would be in the boat. Now the point I always make to all of our members of Congress, notice they're all rowing in the same direction. The second to last person is a farmer, and he has a hand across his face. That's the hand of the 13th person you don't see. So what the artist was saying, here we are as a country, having never won before, risking everything for freedom and liberty on our holiest of night of Christmas. here's a hand, would you get in and join us? And I believe that's as true today as it was then. Our challenges are different, but don't expect us to be able to solve everything. We need to engage together. And I've never seen a nation so divided and intolerant of one another. You know what I just left? I'm on the commission for JFK's 100th birthday. And I proudly serve on that. And one of my best friends is a guy named Joe Kennedy, his great nephew. He's my workout partner. We don't vote very often together, but when his daughter Ellie was born, one of the first presents they got was from my wife and I. And it was a little rocking elephant with the name Ellie on it. And when Ellie comes to town, she always comes over to the office because she wants to show me she can make the elephant noise. And I always look at Joe and say, she's going to be the first Republican. When we walk onto that carpet, I don't walk as a Republican or Democrat, I walk as an American. When you think what has been said, the day they live in infamy is right there. We debated the 13th Amendment in that same chamber. The idea of where we've gone, a more perfect union. Yeah, we struggle for it. But I truly believe we are exceptional in this country. We're different than any other country before us. And this is what I say, if Lincoln was here, what he would tell us. Simply from the Gettysburg Address. You all know 77 years ago, our forefathers brought forth a new nation, conceived in liberty, dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Goes on to say, but if we fail, government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from earth. We were not the world power. He didn't say England or France would pick up the torch, because they're not conceived in liberty. They don't believe everybody's equal. Not even to this day do they believe in other countries that everybody's equal. But you know what made me realize it the most? I was in the Rotunda. It was a couple years back. Shimon Peres, he just recently passed away. He was 91 years old, and he's president of Israel. And we're giving him a Medal of Honor. And he stands before us and he says, you live in the greatest nation that's ever been on the face of the earth. Not the greatest nation of his time, but in the history of earth. And he looks at us, not being an American, he says, you know what your greatness comes from? Not what America takes, but what America will give. America will give the ultimate sacrifice of life so another country could have freedom. And with that freedom become human rights. There's been no other country in the history of this world that will sacrifice their own life for another country to have freedom. They would sacrifice it to conquer and enslave somebody, but not for the concept of freedom. And that's the difference of who we are. So we should not apologize for who we are. That's why I think our morals should actually help lead the world by example. And I know at times it looks ugly outside, but I still believe this is the greatest form of democracy. The greatest idea of freedom is still on the top of this building and the idea of what happens inside. So I thank you for being a part of it.
Congressman Kevin from California.
We're about 12%. All right.